Hello humans, Master Dinnerflex here, bringing you the low quality content you deserve, and today we're going over my predictions for the ban list. And as you know, I am always right and I am always flawless. You could even go back on all my other ban list prediction videos and it's all 100% accurate because I have ties with John Konami himself. So I get to have all the information, and I get to put it on my channel for free. So yeah, that's pretty cool. Now that we got that out of the way, let's get into the prediction. So, first for the semi-limits. Right now, Scapegoat is at 2. And the next logical step would be to put it at 3 because it's literally unplayable, and the reason the card was so broken has passed. However, I think we should take a page out of the OCG's book, and instead of putting a bad card of 3, we should actually just semi-limit another card that doesn't fucking matter at all. Stray Lambs also has these kind of sheep on it, so they have to be on the same power level. So I think this is a good place to put this card. Now, I know a lot of people want Scythe banned, and I am totally of the opinion. So let's just get Scythe out of the game. Dread Scythe Harvester. Like, this is not okay. We can't have cards like this in the game. Sure, Branded has kept Scythe at bay right now, but as soon as anything threatens its best deck status, we're going back to Dread Scythe just completely eating our breakfast, and we don't want that. But yeah. Now, another thing people have said is they want Super Poly out of the game. And yeah, it is kind of dumb, but I think before we get Super Poly out of the game, we have to get Ultra Poly out of the game first, because Ultra Poly is, like, it's bigger than Super, it's Ultra. So we have to get this out of the game first, and then once it's banned, we can start hitting Super Poly. Now, people want the Brave Engine hit, and yeah, like, not hitting Griffin Rider means you're not doing anything. But a lot of people have said if you want to hit the power without killing the engine first, you could hit the Rideable Dragon. And I do think that's an interesting way to go about it, because if you were to hit the Rideable Dragons, it means Darkblade has no method of transportation outside of walking. So I honestly think this is a fantastic way to deal with that. Honestly, very strong. And then finally, this has been a thing going on for a while, and people are getting really sick of it, and it's fusion summoning using materials from the deck. It is very powerful and it's very broken, and while it has been helping the fusion mechanic a lot of people don't like the fact that it just kind of bypasses the mechanic. Even though my truthful opinion is, like, as long as it just has proper restrictions, no one cares, and the only reason it usually doesn't have proper restriction is because Verte exists. But besides that, if we want to go after the fusion spells that do that, let's start with the first one. Despite the fact that this errata has made it entirely unplayable, let's just make an example for the other fusion spells to follow. You cannot have Future Fusion effect, so if we ban Future Fusion, maybe the other fusional spells will be like, okay, we can't do this anymore, and they'll maybe tone it down a bit, you know? I think this is one of the best hits. To try to combat all the fusion spells at once, rather than hitting a whole bunch of cards, we could just ban this one card. All the other fusion spells get kind of scared and, like, go back to normal. So, yeah, that's basically it for my prediction. But I do want to go into detail on a few more things. Alright, now, before you end this video, I got to explain something. Yeah, that ban list prediction was pretty strong. But I do have 3 cards I think I should go into a little bit more, I should say, because I think people's opinions on these have gotten really contradictive to what they actually do. And those 3 cards are Scythe, Super Poly, and not Griffin Rider specifically, but just the Brave Engine. So Scythe, first and foremost. If you're under the opinion they should keep this around just a little bit longer, I'm sorry, stop. The only reason you have that opinion is because Despia is the best deck. If anything happens to Despia's best deck status, this card goes immediately back to being a problem. I'm sorry. Scythe is incredibly problematic. And unlike other situational floodgates we've had in the past, like Dweller and whatnot, Scythe is an exception because it's been increasingly and increasingly more and more becoming problematic, because Dweller's like, okay, we need a graveyard format that also has a lot of rank 4s. Or like all the other extra deck specific monsters that need that specific thing. Scythe is getting to the point where it's just asking the format to play the game. We've watched this card get stronger and stronger, and now that it just exists in the extra deck, it's too much. And even if you like ban DP and you ban all real access to this card from the extra deck, it's still going to be just as toxic. What we've seen is this card just even actually, this is a better way to put it. When we even had Scythe falling out before Despia, that wasn't because the card was just bad. It's because we were main decking so many cards to make sure this didn't resolve, that it didn't resolve that often. That's why. That's the only reason Scythe was kept at bay, despite the fact that it was still warping the entire format to itself. So Scythe needs to go. You can't have Splight coming out and expect this to be fine. And you might be thinking, well, Splight doesn't play this in the OCG. No, they don't, because they're busy searching Max C, which is resolving Scythe. Except Max C, you can draw during either player's turn. I'm sorry, this card needs to go. Super Poly, if you're under the opinion, it's fine to keep this around. I'm sorry, your opinion is that it's a punish to dark monsters. But the reason that opinion exists out there is because it's my opinion. I said that, like in 2019, Super Poly is the best punish to the best attribute. But that's cool, and yes, it is my opinion. That's why it got out there. But an opinion I have overshadows that, where you can have Super Poly or good fusion decks. You cannot have both. And that overpowers my opinion of Super Poly when it comes to it being a board clear. It is okay if it's a board clear. It is not okay if it's a board clear and also enables your deck. That's too much. It is genuinely too much. Cards that say you can't respond to it are the dumbest shit in the universe. I'm sorry. They are. And then finally, the Brave package. If you're under the opinion, oh, hit one of these, limit, like, right, or, like, semi-limit, both right and aqua, don't even hit it. Literally, don't even hit it. Just keep all the cards at 3. The only thing you will achieve in doing that is a tiny, tiny hit in consistency, but a substantially increasing frustration when it comes to sacking. You do not really hit this engine in any meaningful way, as the OCG has taught us, without just banning Griffin. Anything else doesn't achieve anything. The fact that the OCG is actively playing this engine, despite the fact that they only have 1 right and 1 enchantress, proves this engine at its entire win condition is too broken. So the only meaningful way you would ever hit this is just banning Griffin. But if you're not going to ban Griffin, don't even hit it. Just keep all the cards at 3. Because if you're saying like, oh, right is the you can't interact with right, but you can interact with Enchantress, you understand the only reason you're playing this engine is to be called by the grave. And if you're wasting a hand trap on Enchantress, it has already served its function. If you're ogreing the continuous spell, it's already served its function. So you can't even take that argument very far. If you're just not going to hit the engine, then actually don't hit it. Don't sit. The worst one you can do is like semi-limit both of them, because now there's absolutely no difference in anything except a slight consistency loss for a substantially larger sackiness factor. So just keep it. Either hit it entirely or don't hit it at all, because I think all these fake hits I'm getting real sick of. Semi-limits to do-nothing cards. Limits to cards that are only played at 1. We've seen this over and over again. Like, not the ban list we just got that banned order, but the ban list before that was a ban list exclusively of fake hits. And I'm really sick of fake hits. It's why I absolutely despise the Master Duel ban list, because they didn't actually hit anything. They didn't hit anything at all. Even DD Dynamite, now that that FTK is disabled, bots will just move to the next FTK. That's just as easy to perform. Like, I am a huge opponent of fake hits. If you're going to not actually hit a deck, then don't hit it, period, until you decide, okay, it's time to hit this deck. But limiting, like, some random bullshit in the deck doesn't fix the problem. It just makes it feel worse when they have it and don't need to search it. That's all it does. It just makes playing against the deck feel worse and rarely actually does anything to deal with what the deck's problem is. We're getting to the point where you can't really hit a deck's consistency and it have a major factor. You actually have to break the deck. You have to take down its ceiling at this point, because consistency is just omnipresent at this point. Which is why, I'm going to be totally honest, I think all 3 of these cards should be banned. But yep, that's about it. Thank you all for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. And I saved this part for last because I think Banlist videos are pretty cringe. I'm not going to lie. The only reason people watch them is because they're looking for their opinion in them. You don't watch it for any other reason. No one gives you insight that you actually give a shit about. You just watch it to see, is this what I want? And if they say, you're like, yay, this person's so smart, they said exactly what I want. And if they don't say what you want, or say something you don't like, then you go into the comments and say, wow, you're such an idiot, you didn't hit blah, 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 blah. Honestly, it's cringe. I don't give a shit. We'll get what we get, and that's it. But, yeah, that's about it. Thank you all for watching, and remember, Master Dinner Flags will take your soul.